What's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me is always my buddy, my coach, my pal, the man with the plan, the guy who's ready for the green and white to fucking take the field this weekend. Who's ready? Look at this man. He's got his Jets shirt on. Dude. The freaking Hall of Fame logo's on there. He's got the Jets towel on the back, the blanket.
I need all the juju, man. I need all the Namath juju I can get.
Joe Namath. I was like,
we need all the QB. What are you trying to say with the 12? Don't you dare.
I was confused. I was so confused. When you said I need all the juju. I was like,
what am I seeing? What did I miss? What am I seeing?
I was so confused.
Did you not know who number 12 was?
No, I know who number 12 is. I'm just like, you just said juju. I'm like, what the fuck are we going on here? And I was like, oh, John.
Oh, okay. That's a solid throwback, John. I'll give you
that.
Yeah,
it's a great throwback. Great throwback. Joe Willie Namath.
Who's the second jersey besides Joe Willie that you should have if you're a Jets fan?
I think Corbett.
Is it like the Wayne Corbett era? So like
I think Wayne Corbett,
Curtis Martin, but someone from that era, Curtis Martin, Chad Pennington, Keyshawn, if you wanted to, Lavernius Cole, Santana Moss.
Keyshawn's a fun one, but even Johnny Abraham. If you can sneak into Johnny Abraham, either of the numbers,
Sean Ellis.
I think you're good to go there. But if you're missing from that era, like you're out. You're out.
Maybe get someone from the New York Stock Exchange like Klecko. Like if you're really like that type of Jets fan, like
then you're just an old timer.
who's groggy,
grumpy old timer,
Freeman
grumpy
McNeil
old guy.
Jersey. Yeah, jeez.
But we got obviously, guys. You're hearing the voice. We all know who's here. You see him on the YouTube too. So we got our guy Andrew Claudio from Knicks Film School and the new podcast making his return to the podcast world, part of the Blue Wire podcast network. Final review. Andrew Claudio, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, boys. And I gotta say, first of all, I'm now thinking of the Jets jerseys I own because am I an old head or am I a new contemporary like you guys? So I own I feel like every Jets fan has a version of a Joe Willie Namath jersey, or most Jet fans, I should say.
Something. I
have a Joe Willie. It's I think it's the original, the throwback green that they have too. It's really nice. I have a Revis, and then because I can't seem to part ways with it. It doesn't even fit me anymore. I have a Brett Favre Jets jersey. I bought these on the hype the week that it to the Jets. Yeah,
I can relate, bro. I have a Brett Favre. I got a Revis.
So are you a jersey guy though? Do you have or do you have a ton of jerseys that you alternate every week?
No, so my first Jets jersey was off the clearance rack. My boy Justin McCarron's, right? When he was a wide receiver. That's my first ever jersey. My second jersey was the '94 Johnny Abraham. Shout out to my brother for that Christmas gift. And then I started getting a couple. Right, that was like my high school, phase, ready to go. So I got like my Thomas Jones. Hanging out here. I got my Revis and my Favre, and I capped it off with my DeBrick. I had a DeBrickashaw Ferguson, and that's what I was like rocking with once he got drafted. And that's what. And then I had to grab the Jamal Adams 33. That was my last one with the old Jets. I have a little mini helmet signed by him in May with the old number. I was like ready to go those years, but like I think I'm done on the jersey front.
Yeah, the era that Adam Gase completely ruined, which now we can move on from all the way, which I'm happy about. We
can move on.
One other thing we can't move on though from, I just need to throw this out there before we get in. We're going to talk about the Jets. We're going to talk about the etc. I just have to go to the Knicks part real quick because as you can see on the YouTube, there's some Knicks stuff behind me. I'm a fellow Knicks content creator with these two fine gentlemen over at Knicks Film School. And I may or may not have come on the pod last right before the playoffs and kind of threw the warning out there. Hey, like, look at where we're matched up right now. The Hawks and the Heat look like if we're going to be the 4 seed, those are the two teams that we should be looking at. And I got to say, I think I'd rather play the Miami Heat. Well, I had some pushback and it went throughout the entire playoffs, and it appears that everything I said was right, and I'd like my flowers if that is all right.
I wish I'm working on getting a soundboard here where I can just get clapping.
An applause sound.
Yeah, get an applause sound. I'm looking for a good soundboard because we really do need that right now. But I will give you the
Thank you.
Look,
Thank you.
Look, Claudio, you deserve your flowers, okay? But I will say that we need to stay in this timeline, and I'm happy that we played the Hawks. We needed to play the Hawks, right? And we made an enemy in Reggie Miller, the Trae Young
and
era.
now Trae Young's in it. Okay.
We got Christmas game now at noon, opening up the NBA, Knicks Hawks. You know what I mean?
There's a rivalry now. That's real.
Yeah, so we created this, and honestly, I'm still terrified of the Heat. So I don't even
see
the new Heat.
Here's the new Heat do with a full off season. And that's why I've tried to contextualize what the take was, because I've been rubbing it in John and Jeremy's face a little bit too, that they were like going through the Hawks schedule, like who did they even beat? And I was like, yeah, they went 32-11. That's who they beat. And like, be careful what you wish for. And obviously we saw it happen. But my take on the Heat has always been like, now might have been the time to get them. That is the entire thing about the Miami Heat last year. A mess with Jimmy Butler and all the COVID situations that they went through. And yet we're still only a game ahead of the Knicks. I looked at their net rating, which is the middle of the league. Point differential was around even for the entire year. Tyler Hero took a step back, and you saw it against a team like the Bucks, where it was like, if you just like force them to shoot, then the Heat cannot beat you. Mitchell Robinson, excuse me. Duncan Robinson might put up like 40 in a game because you leave him open, but the rest of the team, like Jimmy Butler, was not able to shoot. Bam Adebayo was not able to really be a difference maker. I think now I like that we now have a rival. I'm interested to see what happens with this Trae thing how it expands going forward, especially if Mitch is back on the court. I will just say, like, I wouldn't have minded if Tyler Hero became a rival. If now we reignited the Knicks Heat of the late 90s, I would have been fine with that. But you play the cards. You play the cards. You play the cards that you're dealt, and here we are in 2021, and the Knicks, will Trae Young may become the new Reggie Miller, as you mentioned, John.
I think I agree with John. I agree with John that I think Trae will be the new Reggie Miller, and I totally agree with. Hey, look, I'm just gonna start saying that you were right, Andrew, saying that
right.
if we want, like, we should have probably had the Miami Heat because they just fumbled all the way through. We saw them with the Bucks, who they owned the previous season, and then they couldn't even do a damn thing against them in the playoffs this year. So, and you talked about like COVID, the whole like this was the season like to get them. I'm still in agreement with John, where it's like they terrify me. Just like what Pat Riley and whatever he does to that team down there, he gets like. I could see with like a full offseason, especially how they look now with like Kyle Lowry and everybody. I could see them being not this like great behemoth of a team, but I could see them being really pesky and annoying because they're going to play defense. We're going to play defense. We don't know how we are offensively yet because we haven't seen anything from this team. Obviously, the season hasn't started yet. We got a month until we get to see what Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker look like in the starting rotation, but it's still there's still a little trepidation and seeing what could happen.
They are a well-run organization. I'm the detractor that I don't think Heat culture is real. I don't think that's a thing. So they're the only team that figured out if you eat well, you lose weight. Oh, being in shape is a good thing. Yeah, they're the only team in the NBA that thinks that. That's like, it's not real. They're a well-run organization in a very nice free agent destination. And then 1 year they drafted Dwayne Wade. Like that, that's the Heat culture. Then he attracted his buddy to go play there once. And then what's happened? They've gotten a bunch of meetings and they signed Kyle Lowry at 35, 36 years old. How old's Kyle Lowry?
I think
signing.
And then they got Jimmy Butler to leave multiple dysfunctional situations to go to Miami. Like they are a well-run organization. That's all I am giving them,
I truly admire your disdain for the Heat. And that's why I love that you're a Jets, Knicks, and Mets fan, because it just goes through it all. Like your disdain for Miami just like reigns through. Like nobody else hates Miami except for Jets, Knicks, and Mets fans.
A shout out to your producer, Greg. Like the Mets are playing Miami tonight.
I know.
A non-well-run organization. Their owner just went, or I guess GM, president, whatever Jeter is in. Their president just went into the Hall of Fame, and they're celebrating by scoring 2 runs tonight potentially. So
I love this. I love this. And on Derek Jeter Hall of Fame Day, the captain day, we will switch officially to our Jets talk because We're
Hold on,
talking
not just the captain. I just want to add in there. Deuce
What's
McBride's birthday, Latrell Sprewell's birthday. You gotta add that on there as well. All right.
I mean, it's someday, dude, and it is football eve. You'll be hearing this. It's gonna be football day. I mean, we're in week 1, man. Forget the Knicks season coming up. We are in week 1. NFL season. Jets captains. The captains were named today for the Jets. We got Zach Wilson, Corey Davis, and then we got CJ Mosley, Fatukasi on the defense, and my boy Justin Hardy on the special teams, guys. Are you guys shocked by Zach Wilson being a captain? Are you guys shocked by any of the other captainships? Corey Davis, a new guy. The only really guys that are, I think, were kind of guaranteed were CJ Mosley and Hardy. The other 3 were kind of surprises. Any thoughts on that, Claudio?
I mean, the entire narrative around Wilson can now change that he wasn't a captain at BYU, right? That now
he was too. But yeah,
I thought the whole thing was that he wasn't a captain, and that's why you should be afraid to take Zach Wilson.
They had one picture of him when because they choose captains twice apparently, and he wasn't there for the first one. And then we had Jacob Hatch from ESPN Utah and Locked On BYU, and he was telling us that's all fake news.
Really?
From day one, yeah. He's like, yo, Zach Wilson's a captain. From day one, he was telling us.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So many days thinking about if that should matter or not. Wow. Well, anyway,
you should have tuned into Knicks, Jets, etc. Claudio.
Seriously, shout out you two. You guys actually, that's journalism right there. You actually exposed a blind spot in the media. I am very happy that this quarterback, as young as he is, as from the start, is going to be a leader in this clubhouse. CJ Mosley is healthy, which is more my concern than anything else. Is that maybe we'll get more than a game out of CJ Mosley this year, and
the best game ever.
Right. So I'm hoping we get a full season from. Look, we'll get into this, what we project for them to do this season and how good of a Jets year we're expecting or even thinking or hoping for. I mean, I don't really get too excited about captains, but those two being the leader of your offense and leader of your defense is something you want to see at least.
I agree with having CJ Mosley definitely should be a captain. I agree with you, Claudio. I think for Zach Wilson, it's not even surprising at this point. Trevor Lawrence was named a captain today. Joe Burrow was a captain last season. So I don't think there's anything groundbreaking with having a rookie QB as a captain at this point. Right. So it's not necessarily shocking. And just the way you just hear Robert Saleh and everyone talk about Zach Wilson, the whole cerebral aspect of his game. Shout out to Rich Cimini for that article that he dropped yesterday over at ESPN, and just hearing how Zach Wilson spending nights in Robert Saleh's office, just poking and prodding his brain about defensive schemes and how to gauge for that. That's stuff that we wanted to hear. I can't remember reading that for Geno Smith, for Mark Sanchez, or even Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, we knew that he was just training. We saw him working on his form and technique and everything. But for a guy to just sit down and really put in, be the first one in the door and be the last one out the door, just having that type of mentality as a rookie, and then knocking the whole captain leadership thing to bed, I think it's awesome. I don't find it surprising at this point. I think if anything, it just puts a little bit of more pressure on him, but it gives him that big of an edge to say, hey, I'm going to show that even though I'm a young guy, I deserve to have this C on my chest, because veterans are going to look at that and say, is he worthy of being a captain? He hasn't even been here that long yet. Can he really rile the team up? Can he really make the impactful, whether it's not even necessarily be a speech, but can he be that rah-rah guy, that true leader in the huddle, say, all right, guys, this is our moment. We have to be focused right now. We have to get this first down. We have to convert. We have to move this 2-minute drill. We have to get down the field and at least get a field goal. Can he be that type of person? I think that's what that C on his chest is going to mean. And I'm just excited to see if he's going to be able to live up to that. That's my take on it.
I feel like if he wasn't a captain, it would be more of a cause for concern and not even a big cause for concern. It'd be oh, okay. So the rookie quarterback isn't the leader in the clubhouse yet, especially the one that's going to start week 1. And look, I'm not in the clubhouse, so I don't know if it was just more of he's the quarterback. Of course, we're just going to make him a captain, but it takes the chance for it to be a story and made it a non-story, which I'm happy about.
For sure. And look, I think
really
we even, no, I was going to say, we even had that.
What's up?
Didn't get it.
Which
didn't get it.
might tell you a little bit about what's going on in Miami right now.
I mean, that's why there's rumors of Deshaun Watson potentially going to Miami. So it's
defense of the quarterback when those rumors come up too.
Yes, that situation is going to be interesting to monitor. But I could just go back and just for captains, like another thing I want to chip in on is like think about like when Mark Sanchez became a captain. Think about that fallout that we had that season. What was it, 2011, 2012 season when they went 8-8 and they lost to? That's where they just barely missed the playoffs.
Second Giants Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
That's how I remember it.
I know. I did not want to say it. I did not want to say that.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. And now CP has an argument forever.
I know. We got to hear about how Eli Manning's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
That's fine with me, guys. Guys, you understand that if he didn't do what he did, what world would be
no.
Bro,
this is fine.
This is with that.
Fine.
That is the most misunderstood part of my argument is I'm not saying I don't wish Eli did that because they're my heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't mean he's a Hall of Famer. Like, that's the whole thing.
Listen, if that's all we have to pay, like we just have to pay that
he's gonna make it. But I also have common sense. Like,
he saved the whole world.
But
if
just
that's the argument that he went full Iron Man, then fine. You know what? Deal. Fine. Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer.
He would have been.
Thank you,
He
Iron
would have
Man.
already been better than Jordan. Can you imagine that? He would have already eclipsed Jordan. He would have been like playing with house money right now.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
He'd be 9-0 in the Super Bowl, which would be 8-1. Oh shit, no, 9-1. That's right. He would have been on the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I officially retract all of the information and study and numbers and eye tests that I said about Eli. Fine.
Just give it to him, bro.
Fine. I ignore it. I'm ignoring all of it now. If that's the price to pay for Brady to be 7-3,
a human
fine.
being. Literally just a human. Like
You've turned.
We didn't need any more Tom Brady Super Bowls, that's for sure. But I was just getting back on track what I was saying because I don't need to go down that memory lane. Just because there was a Giants fan that was just bothering the shit out of me that season. He was like, the Jets are going to be an 8-8 team that season, and the Giants are going to win the Super Bowl. I was like, he's calling this. Keep in mind, he's calling this in preseason. I was like, there's no way the Jets, who just went to back-to-back AFC championships, are going to be an 8-8 team, and the Giants, who are like what? They were doing shit the last two seasons. And I'm like, now they're going to go. Yeah, and then they go 9-6 and go fucking win a Super Bowl. I was like, and then I had to see this guy because it was on my route to work while I was in New York. I was like, so I had to see this guy at the end of everything. He's like, I told you. And I'm like, you just before I go to jail today, just get the fuck out of my face. Like, actually.
And the worst part about that Giants run, which again, like heroes, made sure Brady lost another one. The worst part about it is you can legitimately point to week 16 against the Jets.
The Jets, yeah.
As the moment that it kind of turned because they were 7-7.
Christmas Eve, man.
Lost to the Washington R-words the week before. And then they played the Jets and Rex talked all that shit. And then it got a rise out of Victor Cruz. It got a rise out of the rest of that locker room. And that gave them the confidence to then go beat the Cowboys. And they rode that wave, all starting with week 16. And it rode it all the way to the Super Bowl. That was a 9-7 football team. That is not supposed to win the Super Bowl. And goddamn it did.
I remember that it was Christmas Eve. I was at my older sister's house. And I was just in a house full of Giants fans. I was like, I can't watch it. It was just brutal.
I think the Packers game was what really hurt me. But you know, Joe
Packers game.
The Tom Coughlin red face game. I mean, I thought there was no chance they were winning that game. And once they won that, I was like, oh, okay. Like they're real. Like once they won that game, I had Packers all the way. And then once that like changed everything, I was like, oh, like Giants are gonna win. Like that was what did it for me.
That Super Bowl run, the red face game. I was rooting for the Giants that entire run. I personally, I guess I just don't have the annoying Giant fans that you guys do in your life. I have no beef with them. Like they're also Yankee fans, which is why like some of that DNA comes out. But the Mets play the Yankees every year. There is a legitimate rivalry.
Yeah.
The Giants, they just have flatly not been as successful as the Yankees. They have these two Cinderella runs to the playoffs, which you hope for and you dream about and they're inexplicable, but they're more on par with what the Ravens have done this century. They're not the Yankees. The Patriots are the Yankees, which when I have those Yankee fans in my life, it's like, oh, so you're a Boston fan, because that's what I get from Patriots fans all the time. Now, before this turns into Knicks, Jets, Yankees, etc., we don't have to go down that road.
No, we won't.
We won't do that. We won't do that.
Tips for trash talking if you're a Mets fan is all I'm saying.
We won't do that. But the last thing I want to add on for the captain thing, after having the fun side conversations, that I remember that season where Mark Sanchez got the captain, and everyone was just upset that he got the captain without really earning it. And that's where I want to add for like Zach Wilson. Again, this podcast back on track after we went off the rails for a little bit.
Rex just named captains, right? It was he never took a team vote. Like that's why Santonio Holmes was made a captain.
Exactly. Too. Santonio Holmes, who was it? Santonio Holmes, Mark Sanchez. And those were like the two most controversial captains, because San Antonio was just there that was his second year as a Jet, and he just had some spectacular catches. He missed half of some of the regular season the previous year due to the drug testing. So I think PEDs. And then Mark Sanchez really hasn't shown himself as a true leader. He just had some clutch moments in the playoffs, and yet Sanchez was like, Rex Ryan was like, hey, Sanchez, Holmes, I like that what you did last year. You guys are captains. And so that's what I actually like about this year, and why I don't mind Zach Wilson being a captain. But I think that wraps it up for the captain's talk.
Yeah, Corey Davis, he said he wasn't surprised about it, and he's also a captain, so that's good. He's a veteran in the league. Rex Ryan was just a note on that he was very gimmicky with his captainships. He liked to also like stir beef with the hat. And he would like have multiple guys if anyone had a problem. Like, the guy that punched Geno Smith when they were going up against each other in Buffalo, he had him be a captain, even though he literally had no snaps. You know what I mean? Like, he likes to play games like that. Of note, Salah is keeping one spot open for a game-to-game captain, probably like a little revenge game, or if somebody's going back home just to motivate, or maybe just, reward people. So that's cool. But another thing that we have in common, and I just kind of want to know before we get into the week one, Jets versus Panthers, I'm really excited about, but we've been talking about it all season. But just a really quick note in the Athletic, a piece came out talking about player agent surveys, and they asked, this is a fun one. They asked which is the least favorite GM or the least trustworthy GM. Last year, our friend Billy B, he was the number one guy. This year, it's Howie Roseman from the Eagles. Billy B, a number two. Don't worry, he's always up there in the race. But the only reason this is relevant to us is because our good friend Joe Douglas got 3 votes. Really interesting side note, and of course, what didn't make the news is he also got a vote for being the best GM. So I think it kind of evens out a little bit. And what's really funny, and why I really want to point it out, is because the notes, the quoted notes under that in the Athletic were quite hilarious. So regarding Joe Douglas, can you guys guess? I'm just curious. I just want you guys to guess which agent might have said these quotes. We got 2 of them. First one, the organization is so bad, it's hard to trust anything that comes out of there. Any clues? Couple safeties?
About the Jets?
Yeah. And then the second one, which is totally my favorite one. Part of that is his circumstances with ownership, but they've told multiple players things in the last couple of years that just haven't been true. You think Jamal Adams is poking the bear a little bit here?
A little bit, yeah.
He's still a little mad. You think Marcus May's agent is still a little bit mad? Do you guys make do you guys make anything of this? You think it's a little bit of nonsense? You think it's a little bit of prestige that he's up with these, highly regarded guys? Do you guys care at all?
I think it's telling. I don't know how you guys feel. I think when we talked about this last, though, we said that of the things wrong with the Jets, Joe Douglas is toward the bottom of we saw a difference between what's wrong with Gase and what's wrong with anything going on the field. And we said that Douglas is he has won most of the trades that he's made. He hasn't had a chance to have multiple drafts to refill the roster with talent that he views as productive. And the only thing I'll make of it is that, people are paying attention, whether it be a negative way that he's getting votes to be the worst, or in a positive way that he's gotten recognition to be one of the best. What is it? The all press is good press at a certain point.
Do you think we have a culture problem? Like, no. Especially as Knicks fans, like we know what the difference is. I think now between bad culture and good culture. I don't think we really know the difference as Jets fans yet. I know we used to have it in the old days, but do you think this is like a bad culture GM thing? Because we kind of had him in the Leon Rose, gonna bring players in, guys love him. Are we
nowhere near as bad? Nowhere near as bad as what the Knicks had to replace. First of all, I think what the Knicks had to replace, like John has used this a bunch of times on Knicks Film School, like the rot was in the walls between Steve Mills, and it went all the way back to the 2000s. And the Knicks had to completely, whatever Steve Mills is doing in the organization, God bless him, whatever. You're always going to have a job under James Dolan. I actually respect that kind of weird ass loyalty. You're so bad at your job that I'm going to keep you into the organization. Okay. The Jets, like whether we want to admit it or not, have had success way more than people want to give them credit for. They've made the playoffs like 7 times in my lifetime, which in the NFL, like it's not as consistent as you'd like it to be. And the drought is significant that they needed to move on from a certain coach, but it's not like
I don't want to field goals away, man. Field goals away. Like if we were in the Twitter era, Doug Bryan would literally be Finkel out here. You know what I mean? Like things would be a little bit different. I feel like even the Colts comeback in the second half, like that would be different if it was today.
Yes.
Like, oh my goodness, they blew that lead. Can you believe it? Are they ever gonna come back? Like it wasn't really like that. It was just like, oh yeah, Peyton Manning came back. It's all good. Jets stink.
It's what I mean? Footnote. The details of that game are not at all
like
recognized. All that stuff Sean Green got hurt in the second half. Nobody knows about it. The Jay Feely missed field goal in the first half after being perfect throughout the rest of the playoffs.
Like there was so many. Like I just feel like that era just. I mean, it just wasn't ready for today. But I guess just going back to the question, you don't think they have a culture problem? You think this is all good? You think players would still come to the Jets?
I think they have. Le'Veon Bell came here. Like it's not his fault that the worst coach I've ever had to root for became the head coach of the team. It's like the Jets have had guys sign with the Jets. CJ Mosley is here. Corey Davis is here. They like it's not something that has stopped people from going there. And Jamal Adams can say whatever he wants. Like he got the money he wanted on a different team. And the Jets got 2 first-round picks for a safety. Like you're able to look at value and apply sense to it. Also in a hard cap league like the NFL, applying value like that to players is everywhere. You want to talk about like trades that not giving a player money and assessing value. Billy B's the one of them. Like the main guy that's always like, oh, you're not going to be productive for me in a year. I'm going to trade you now since you're going to get paid soon and refill fill your spot with somebody we took in the 6th round. I don't buy I think a lot of football. And I think again, the last time we were here, I think we talked about this. A new coach can change so much. Going from Freddie Kitchens to Stefanski, look what's happened to the Browns. Going from Adam Gase to anybody. I'm telling you, that's already such an improvement. This can lead into what's going to happen in Carolina. I'm so excited to watch in an offensive scheme with a quarterback that I trust that I buy into this Sunday. And it's weird to say that because I haven't said that in the last 2 years.
I just find it interesting that, I guess if there was any type of discussion, I think, Andrew, as you point out, is good for like Joe Douglas to get some sort of recognition, whether it's bad or good, because it means people are paying attention to you and they're watching the way that you move. And to say that he's not trustworthy, John, it's like it has to be Marcus May and Jamal Adams.
I know, it has to be, bro.
It has to be, bro. Like it just has to be like Marcus May wants to get paid, hasn't gotten paid, got tagged. Okay, Jamal Adams wants this crazy contract, wasn't going to get with the Jets, and like, yeah, sure, loyalty, whatever, but you can't just go give a whole diary to a certain beat writer that we're going to mention their name on. So I can't agree with that either. But the way that he's moved, the way that you look at the team, and to even point, like to piggyback off what Andrew said, look, we have Corey Davis here, right? Like we have Zach, like we've heard about quarterbacks who are just like, I don't want to go to that team. Look, you had Eli Manning, who's like, I don't want to go to the Chargers. I want to go to the Giants. We don't have that even during the draft. We have guys who are now excited to be here. So look, Carl Lawson, we had him waxing poetic about how he's happy to be a New York Jet. So I think they're realizing the culture shift. And if anything, I think even under Robert Saleh, and even from that Rich Cimini article that I touched on earlier, how he's trying to get a pulse of the team. I hear everyone talk about the team saying that you can just be open and honest in who they are. You're hearing Carl Lawson talk about anime. I haven't heard about a guy talk about anime in NFL in ever. Like who talks about that? Who does that? Like all we got was like the generic for so long, like here to work, here to put in the work, do all these things, and now we're getting guys showing a little bit of personality. So there's a level of comfort there has to be to show that, oh, they're building something interesting over there. You know, when you have beat writers like DJ Bieniemy talking about anime afterwards.
Yeah,
I think it's just starting to say something about the New York Jets. And this is not even trying to be a homer. I just trying to read the tea leaves, because we saw what happened under Adam Gase. Like, you had Quincy Enunwa, who was like, I had to pay a fee for missing practice because I was injured. Mm-hmm. Why am I paying a fee under Adam Gase? And
it was posted on the wall. It was posted on the screen in the locker room.
And posted as soon as you walk in the building. Don't you have Alex Lewis, like last season, who was getting into it with Adam Gase on just playing time and just injury and having to play through injury? Like, that stuff's coming out. We saw the fight between Adam Gase and what was it? Greg Williams. So you just knew about that beef. Yeah. You know,
but there's also on the other side, right? That issue with the guard, right? And the injury. I'm sure he's going to put some of the blame on I forgot his name, with Joe Douglas, that we signed and from the Raiders, and we kind of misdiagnosed his injury. But yeah, I think you guys are right. And I actually, Connor McDermott said something really interesting about the whole culture shift this week. He actually gave some credit. He said Adam Gase and his offensive coordinator Logan's, they are quote unquote gurus, but the problem is they really thought that they could win the game with X and O's. And Robert Saleh just doesn't do that. He actually is a leader of men, and he knows that he needs the players to show up and just do what they do best in order to win. Like, Saleh cannot win this game on Wednesday. And like the way he put it is Gase and Logan's legit thought that they could win the game on Thursday if they just drew up some cool plays. But like, they have to tell the offensive guard to guard someone because, I mean, the guards got off. I'm just saying. And so that's the culture shift that I'm most interested in, not some player agents votes that didn't get any money. That's really all.
Yeah. That's Rex Ryan shit. That's the motivating your players that they're better than what they act like, trying to convince that 9-7 team that they're the best team in the NFL, and then being a good second half away from beating Manning and the Colts and making the Super Bowl. Like, that's literally raising the level of your team to be better than what they're actually supposed to be. And if you could do that with this team while also having the LaFleur system intact for this quarterback, if we have time, I'd like to ask you guys real quick. Like, I wasn't here obviously when you guys did your Lawson pod, but what were your reactions when you got the alert about Lawson's injury? Because talk about a guy that came here, that signed here. Carl Lawson, that one could have potentially made this Jets season really special, and now I have no idea what to expect as far as the peak anymore.
Well, before we get to the Panthers, we want to go down a little bit of a memory lane on how I felt. I was upset, man, because you talk about Joe Douglas finally spent money on a premier position that we absolutely need, that we haven't had in such a long time. Bo Wilkerson was probably the last defensive end that was good and had a somewhat productive career with the New York Jets. Air quotes for good, productive. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, I agree with those air quotes 100%. So it's been a while since we had someone at that position. The energy they came in, just seeing like videos, just hearing how he loved being on this team. Finally having somebody that could help the defense, just like relieve some pressure off the cornerbacks, and they could help the development of our secondary, because it's just going to be Marcus May back there. Like, it's not like we have like some seasoned secondary. Like, our cornerbacks are second and a rookie, or second year and a rookie. We have Bryce Hall, and it's supposed to be Brendan Eccles, who's going to be on the other side right now, our rookie. And then you have Marcus Joyner, because Ashton Davis is hurt out there at safety with Marcus May, the only true veteran back there. like the only true veteran who's been on this team. So
and he's pissed at us.
Yeah, and he's pissed at us. So that's it's a very interesting position to be in. Yeah. So like I was hoping that we could have him to help like the development of our cornerbacks and our like upcoming safety and Ashton Davis. We don't have that now. On top of that, I was excited to see the front seven just dominate the run, and just stop and just give some sort of pressure. And I also think that losing Carl Lawson and the weakening, even losing Curry on the defense too, now gives other offenses the capability to just really go at the Jets and really attack the secondary. Because if we're not going to get that pressure, they're going to be running up the score. And now if we're going to be running up the score, that means it's going to be put more pressure on Zach Wilson to have to compete in these games and really sling it all over the place. And I don't know if he's necessarily ready. And so that was like, that's what my thoughts were as soon as we lost Lawson. I was like, shit, we're now like, it's a true domino effect when you lose someone that dynamic. And we're not a complete team. We're still a rebuilding team. We're plugging in players that we need, whether it's the offensive line, our secondary, and so forth. We addressed the quarterback position right. Running back isn't fully set yet. We have a carousel of running backs. And we're gonna watch Ty Johnson, Tevin Coleman, and Michael Carter try to do the thing, and Michael P. Ryan whenever they get their chances. But it's really not a true team where you can say, oh shit, look, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who if they lose somebody, it's okay. Like it's legitimately okay because they have somebody else that can pick it up, and there's not that major domino effect. For the Jets, everyone really matters who's available because there can be a serious domino effect for this team. Yeah. So that was my take for Carl Lawson.
Yeah, I mean, it was devastating, man. We started off this episode somehow talking about Johnny Abraham, and he was supposed to be our next Johnny Abraham, and it's tough. And I mean, Alex is totally right. That was our strength, and we were going to build on that strength to kind of shade on our weakness at cornerbacks, our limited depth at safety, which we'll get into in a little bit. And Gerard Davis got hurt too. And now we're starting to, college safeties converted to linebackers. Meanwhile, we're literally the worst team in the NFL against a tight end last year. Now we have CJ Mosley switching to the Mike, where he's not really that comfortable. He wanted to be the Will. And so things are already like moving around. Now I got the Carl Lawson injury. Curry's out. So it was definitely a blow to the heart and to my expectations, which is fine. And it took me like a day to get over, right? It took me like straight 24 hours. Like I didn't need to sleep on it. I was like, oh my goodness, like how? This is ridiculous. Gerard Davis went down that week too. It was just a slew of injuries. But I mean, I'm going to be transparent. Before that injury, I thought that the Jets versus Panthers +4.5 was one of the easiest bets of week one. I thought Jets to make the playoffs at +500. Shout out to our new podcast, Winning Picks Weekly, with our video producer Greg, which is also dropped. But I thought those were my favorite bets of the year. And then once that happened, and I was like fighting that, right? As you know, as Jets fans, I have to I'm like Jon Snow out here, like right. Like, as soon as I say like the Jets are gonna do something positive, I'm like ready for the avalanche, right? Uh-huh. And so I was ready for it, but now it really became the learning year. And now we're like totally playing with house money. Like it's as if Julius Randle got hurt last year. You know what I'm saying? It's like dude, no matter what happens, like we can't lose. Like if Zach Wilson looks like a decent football player and we win 4 games, no problem. Carl Lawson was out, rookie this, rookie that. We don't know, we're going to figure it out next year. Carl Lawson was hurt. We're going to get a bunch of players. We also have 2 first-round picks. We still have our slew of first-round picks and 1,000 sixth-round picks, and we also like to maneuver veterans, etc. So now I'm just okay. If we just start, there's just some revenge games, and we have to start getting into it now. Like it's week 1. I cannot lose week 1. My expectations are my expectations now because of Carl Lawson, and it's really cool that he's gonna be the man about it, right? He's gonna do the whole Avery Williams thing where he's not gonna go away. He's gonna post himself on Sundays. He's gonna be into the beat. I'm sure if you talk about him, if you write about the Jets, he's gonna be watching and listening, which is really cool. But dude, we cannot lose week 1. Like we can go 1-16. Maybe a Patriots like split. Like, like he can go two wins up, but like we cannot lose versus the Panthers, man. And it is because of Sam Darnold. I don't care what anyone says. You can call me petty. You could say it's just one game. You could take the Sam Darnold route, which cool guy. He didn't want to talk any trash about the Jets today. He didn't want to, he said it's just another week. That's fine. He said it was, he took the blame. Sounds good. We cannot lose to Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson, and Frankie Louvu. And Matt Rule. We just can't.
He can say all he wants, how this is just another week. That is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way it's just another.
He doesn't know any better, bro. It's his first week. I mean, maybe it was like week 3 or 4.
No. Look, Darnold's always been a good guy with the media, where he's just not going to get, he's not going to give you the headline that you want unless it's about ghosts and so forth. But what he will do is just play it nonchalant, like nothing's going on, like everything's the same, like week to week. This means a lot to him. It's your former team. It is the New York Jets. It's the team that drafted you. They didn't have. In his mind, it's probably running through that. Look, they probably didn't have faith in me to run it back and say, hey, I'm actually a good quarterback and I can improve. They decided to move on from me and go on with Zach Wilson. Fine. I still have a gripe with that because I still should have been that guy. He probably has that. He may have that chip on his shoulder. I don't know. He could also be that cool, relaxed guy who's just California, chilling, really has no problem. But I highly doubt that. You're not in the NFL unless you're a truly competitive person. And I think he is that competitive person where he's looking at this week 1 matchup saying, oh yeah, I'm going to show everybody. And this might be I know maybe week 1, he's still working with his new team. This may be his best game, his best performance of the year. I'm just saying that would not surprise me. I still don't want to lose to him. I could just see it. I could just see it being his best game of the season because one is just in true Jets fashion where we have to get shown by someone that we got rid of. But it's not that we're bad. It's just that for him, it's just opening week 1. It just happens. It just all comes together like a Cinderella story.
No, Alex. No.
I'm sorry. I'm still a pessimistic Jets fan.
Listen, man. Just think. Pick 6, Detroit Lions, first play. Just think. Feel those vibes.
And what was the final score?
Stop. Yeah. We won that.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, what was that final score?
So 2 things. I brought up the Carl Lawson thing because it factors into the Carolina game Sunday and the rest of the season for me. Yeah. Because if you remember the last time I was here, I went all the way confident and said 11-6 is my projection for this season.
I remember that.
Yes,
I was confident in the quarterback. I was the not Adam Gase team, push that they were gonna get. The fact that I was a big buyer into the defensive pressure that they were going to be able to create this year. I was very much this team was not a 2-14 team. They had a 2-14 coach with a 5-11 roster. Now they have what's probably an 8-9, 7-10 roster. And if this coach and coaching staff, or maybe even this quarterback, can get an extra couple wins, there's a playoff team here. So I was Alex, I was on vacation. This because I was up in Boston and I had kind of tuned out news and alerts and stuff. I pretended I didn't see it because how you legit
it's not real. It's not
I
real.
saw it and it was no, that didn't happen. And the craziest part, the spookiest part about it, I did a New England road trip with my girlfriend. So the first couple of days we went to Boston. Thursday, which was the day that the injury happened and was announced, we drove from Boston to Rhode Island to I'm forgetting the big, I think Newport News is the place that it's the water area. So anyway, we went down there. We stopped in Foxborough. Okay.
Oh God.
When did I get the fucking alert, guys? As I was walking around the little campus that they have there, we stopped at the little mall, the strip mall that they have there.
You went to Foxborough.
We went to. You weren't just town. We wanted to go to see this little area that has all these Super Bowls, but literally there's nothing if you go 1 mile east, west, north, south.
Exactly.
Okay, so we went to the Roman pizza place that's there because it's a weird they put it on on stilts and stuff. So I get the alert while I'm across in the arena that Bill Belichick is probably working, and I was this is spooky, but I was you know what, it's not real. It's okay. There's no reason. This didn't happen. This did not happen. And if we want to start getting into week 1, I am excited to watch Zach Wilson this week, this season. I am excited to see what a competent offense will look like, because I have confidence that this offense will finally look competent. As far as fears about Sam Darnold, I'm terrified that now that he's got a coach that I happen to think will make a really great head coach next year, and some weapons and some competence behind him, that he's going to be the prince that was promised for Carolina. And I'm not crazy about their chances this Sunday. I am looking forward to just not. I think the Jets will put up points on Sunday, is what I'll say. I don't think this is going to be like 45-17 or something crazy like that. But if you told me it was 31-21, I wouldn't shock me either. And that the Jets lost and Darnold looked great.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so the positives, just to wrap up the Carl Lawson thing, I again, from my perspective, is that the players are going to get that Adam Gase effect that you're talking about. They're going to get that, hey, our guy is gone, and this is our time to step up. And then by next year, hopefully, we'll actually, be a super D-line. That's really, especially with Fatukasi getting that captainship, that kind of excites me. But you just said something. We're on to week one, and you pointed out something that we're going to get a lot of points, and the Carolina Panthers have weapons. I really have an issue with both those 2 points, because I know that it's sexy to say, yo, they got Christian McCaffrey back, first game off an injury. They got this new quarterback in Sam Darnold. That's going to be fun. They also drafted Chuba Hubbard. They got Robbie Anderson off a contract. He's fast. DJ Moore is there. But that's it. Literally it.
That was a lot you just named, though. That's not a little.
No. Okay. So, am I allowed to talk smack about Sam Darnold now?
Shit. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's do it. Let's get into this, man.
Is that allowed? Because he was literally ranked 36 on PFF last year of quarterbacks. I have 38 eligible quarterbacks. So what are we talking about? That's the guy we're worried about. Are we really worried about Christian McCaffrey first game off the injury, the horseback? Is he really are they really gonna give it to him that much? I'm generally curious about that. The only issue I actually have is, what are we gonna do with Robbie Anderson? But I do think that we'll just double him, right? And I'm not DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, they're gonna be issues, but I think if we double both of them and we just stack, and then we just stack against Christian McCaffrey, I think they're gonna score points on us. But Sam Darnold's gonna give us the ball once or twice, right? We've all watched every Sam Darnold game.
You're not scared, as Alex pointed out, that he fixes all of his problems, and the quarterback that everybody said the Giants or the Browns should have taken one is gonna show up on Sunday.
Not week one.
Okay.
That would be a lot for me to think that Matt Rule is gonna take this not so great offensive line either.
I'm not even thinking Matt Rule. I'm thinking Joe Brady here. So
okay, I mean, look, I get it, and I am actually nervous about Sam Darnold killing it at the end of the year, by the end totally, but not really nervous. I'm going to be upset about it. I'm nervous because it's going to be it's just going to come down on the Jets, and it's going to put pressure on the hypothetical, Zach Wilson comparison. That's just what bothers me. But honestly, I like Sam Darnold. I hope he does okay. He's not that bad. Mm-hmm. He isn't the bottom second of extra 8 quarterbacks that played last year. I don't think he's that bad. But I mean, is he going to improve that much on week one? Pat Elflein was so bad. We had him on our team. He's so bad. He's their starting left guard. That's what I don't understand. Matt Paradis, we were so lucky we didn't sign him. He really hasn't been that great. The offense really doesn't scare me. And that's what's so awesome about this game. On the flip side, Claudio and Alex, I want to hear your thoughts. But he said that we're going to score a lot of points. The issue is the 2 best players on the Panthers, in my opinion, outside of a healthy CMC, are their cornerbacks. So they just got rookie Jace Horn, and then their other guy, Dante Jackson, murdered it last year. So if that's the case, and Corey Davis is locked up, and we have another wide receiver locked up, Crowder coming off COVID, Elijah Moore has a hamstring, are we just going to run it at Frankie Louisville all day? I mean, that sounds good to me, you know what I'm saying? But that's where I kind of see a different ball game where their strength is their cornerbacks. I don't think their offense is going to be as potent as they should. And I think their defense is going to actually stagnate us. We're going to be running. We're not going to be able to throw against their guys. So I kind of see it as like a low scoring, close, disgusting game, turnovers on both sides. Alex, what do you got, man? Week 1.
I'm going to go with, I think it's just tough to see the New York Jets come out week 1 with a rookie quarterback and win. I think that's just very hard for me. Even when we had Mark Sanchez and any other rookie QB, like sure, Geno Smith won his rookie year after Mark Sanchez went down against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on like a last second, what was it, penalty that put us in field goal range where we probably should have lost. I just find it very hard for a rookie quarterback to come in week 1. I actually think that I don't know if there'll be a lot of points. I think it's also not going to be necessarily a smooth transition for Sam Darnold because he didn't necessarily look great in preseason either. But I can still see,
bro. That's what bothers me, yo. The Panthers acted like Sam Darnold's some veteran. He's a rookie to me, yo. Like that, like your whole spiel right now. Like I want you to go on. To me, Sam Darnold is a rookie. Like he hasn't really got any playing time in the preseason. He has a new coach, and he was with Mr. High School Coach Gase.
Well, here's what I'll say with Christian McCaffrey. I mean, Christian McCaffrey makes a major difference. Sure, he had the year off. He's going to come back. But when he was in his second year with Cam Newton, who only had a QB rating of like, was it 53.2, and Darnold had like had 45 essentially every single year. They went 7-9, like with a pretty bad Panthers team. And Christian McCaffrey was the guy who could just legitimately hold it down. He is legit the team on offense. And just everyone else is just a bystander of how good Christian McCaffrey is. Is he going to be at prime position for week 1? Probably not, but I'll take it 80% Christian McCaffrey just to make the workload for Sam Darnold that much lighter, where Matt Rule's like, I don't have to have Sam Darnold do everything. Christian McCaffrey is legit that guy that can just do everything. So I expect the Panthers to actually win week 1, not just because I'm just saying, man, this is trying to be honest. I'm just trying to be honest. I think Zach Wilson is good. I think like from what we saw in preseason, he is good. I think he's going to be better than Sam Darnold. And what we saw, he already shows those potentials of like just being able to throw in the breadbasket in tight coverage. He has those things, but it's not just the quarterback that's going to win the game. It's the entire team. And so when I'm looking at it offensively and defensively, I'm not saying that Carolina Panthers are the greatest team out there, but I think they have enough that they're going to beat the Jets week 1. And it's probably not going to be a score where I'd say like Claudio, where it's like 31-21. I'm probably going to say it's going to be a closer game and like 28-21 or like 28-24, something along those lines.
Man, you said you didn't think my score was. You thought my score was too high, and then picked the score.
I think
31.
I think mine. I don't see Sam Darnold being able to throw again to 30.
The over-under is 44.5. Why don't we just play it like that? You think that's going over or under?
44.5.
I already said something, so I'll take the over. Sure, why not?
It doesn't matter. You can change it up here.
I think the Jets. I think if it's 24-21 in the fourth quarter, and then the Jets can't stop the Panthers from putting the game away in the fourth, that is a version of events that my PTSD Jets fan brain can see. Is that Sam Darnold actually marches down the field to put a game away and the Jets lose, while also be encouraging that Zach Wilson looks as advertised. Look, I'm going off of my like, regardless of if Elijah Moore's out, then that's a thing. Then that's something to be worried about. But at the same time, I'm going off of what Chris Sims has said about Zach Wilson, what Tony Romo has said about Zach Wilson, that he's going to look like, oh, this is why we traded Darnold. This is why we took him over Justin Fields. But we are confident in this guy on Sunday. And it's why we'll have confidence in him, but realize that this roster has a little bit more work to do.
And I think that two things can exist. I think, as Andrew pointed out, two things can exist.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson could be really good, but the team is just not there. I'm looking at who is stopping Christian McCaffrey. If Carl Lawson was on that side, I'd be like, all right, you know what? We really got a shot here, but I don't think we have that now.
Carl Lawson's not going to be. He's not going to be coming at C-Mac. It's going to be Mosley. Mosley is going to be the guy that has to shut down C-Mac. I agree with you in the grand scheme of things. That's my issue. But NFL is a week by week game. We just have them at week 1, where C-Mac is just not his whole spiel is he gets 33% of the ball. Like, he just owns the ball. they're not going to do that week one of coming without a preseason coming off an injury for their big, their whole team, their whole franchise. I just don't see it happening. Can it happen? Sure. I think they don't want to, like, Darnold is their franchise quarterback. Like, let's not forget about where the Panthers are sitting. They have their coach where, he's settled in. That's it. They're married. Rule and Darnold are married. And they can't come week one and lose to the Jets. Like, the pressure is on them. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I know for us, we got rid of Darnold. It's scary. Now we have Zach Wilson. But I think personally the pressure is on them. I think we fleeced them in the Darnold trade. I think that their butts are on the line with Darnold to be a franchise quarterback. And I think that their weapons aren't as sharp as you think they are, especially because of how they treated the preseason. I was really trying to pay attention to Darnold, of course, right? Like, especially because they have Luvu and Robbie and they're fun, right? Like, I want to see what's going on there. They did not look so great. And, just a couple of notes, right? They have their right guard. He is out for COVID. So they might start a rookie there. That might not be so great. Shee Smith, another rookie, which is their kick returner and their punt returner. He's not practicing. He might be out. I mean, there's just some things here and there. They don't have a kicker anymore. Joey Sly is gone. They just signed a new guy, and we know how those kicking woes can go. I don't know. It just seems like weird that Sam Darnold is going to just come in here and all of a sudden blow us out. Like, that narrative. Darnold narrative. Like, I trust me, guys. Like, I am with you.
Which is why this should be so much more of a realistic scenario.
I just don't see it happening. But when you actually, like, the narrative is there, but when you actually start looking at the game, it just, to me, doesn't match up like that. That's just how I personally, like, do you think, I'll throw it back to you guys. Do you think they're going to cover 5.5? Like, it moved from 4.5 to 5.5. Obviously, the public is with Carolina. Like, do you think now, like, Sam Darnold's going to win by 6-7 points? Like, is that happening now? Now Sam Darnold's giving up 7
points. Hey, man, look.
Are you guys awake? Are you guys awake?
But we can't act like, look, I get that I don't want to lose to the Panthers, but we can't act like Sam Darnold hasn't had games like when he was with the New York Jets where he's just lit up teams and you're just like, wow, look what he did against the Raiders. Wow, look what he did against the Giants. And you can't just ignore everything that he has done. And even with that under Adam Gase, like, there has to be some realization of, like, saying, all right, there is that potential. Yeah, so
he's going to be good. He's going to be all right. I don't think I think it's going to be a close.
I'm not,
we're going to get exposed. We're going to get exposed.
And I agree with you. I agree with you saying
take the money line.
Pressure's on.
Take the money line.
I agree with you that the pressure's on Carolina, but I think the reality is that we got to look at the team that's like we also have lost guys. We've also are like a young team. We're an up and coming team. Like, it's two teams that aren't fully gelled together. It's going to be a slugfest, and I think talent wins out in a slugfest. So, do we have the running backs to necessarily go off? No. Do we have the quarterback? Okay.
I like our running backs. That's like the best thing we have going.
I like our running backs too, but if we're putting it against Christian McCaffrey, I'm just and like everything else that they got against
Christian McCaffrey. We're putting him against our linebackers. That's what I'm trying to say.
I like the confidence in John. I'm very much like, oh wow, the Jets might win Sunday. Great.
I think they're gonna cover. Cover. That's the whole thing. I think they're gonna cover. Like, 5.5 to me is insane. Like, especially with no special teams. And honestly, I'm gonna call right now. The odds are not out. But if you could find a special teams turnover for the Panthers, I'm taking that. They don't have a kicker. There's a brand new kicker that just got off the street, and they don't have a returner. And honestly, that's what wins games, right? If our defense is better than theirs or whatever, and their offense is better than ours, what's going to make the difference is the special teams. And that's the only thing that's consistent with us is we got Boyer, and we actually have Amendola, who I weirdly trust. I don't know why. Probably going to bite me in the butt. But kicker's like the most important thing for me for the Jets. I have not felt confident in a Jets kicker in so long. This guy has the leg. He's been hitting it. I'm curious. What are you gonna give me, Nick Folk? You're gonna give me?
I know Jason Myers.
Jason Myers.
Extremely.
I know.
Confident in him.
He didn't miss. He didn't miss for 2 years, including one for ours and then one in Seattle. But then he missed like half of them, and then he almost got cut. And then, like, things happen. So I know. He expected a big contract, but I don't know. Like, I feel like a special team, Justin Hardy, we haven't seen him. He was off the whole preseason. He's our captain. I'm hoping he actually one of our big signings this year, right? Special teams. It's not fun. It's not sexy at all. But we have a good punter. I don't know. I know this stuff sounds ridiculous, right? But like I'm telling you, that's why the 5.5 is crazy to me. Like the 5.5, like if Sam Darnold cannot be minus 5.5. Like what are we saying?
like
like, that's
the
what
whole
drives
thing.
me nuts.
The thing that we've said repeatedly is the not Adam Gase factor.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm projecting Sam Darnold to look, is that a quarterback that doesn't have Adam Gase calling the shots for him anymore, which might only materialize later in the year. Like you may be right about that after like 6 or 7 weeks in the Brady offense, that
he's going to be good.
It looks great. Yeah. That week 1 might be the time to get him. I'm just not going to be the one to predict that all things have worked out for the Jets just yet, while also, with the eye test being like, I really liked what I saw with Zach Wilson in some very tight pockets during the preseason that I watched. And it's why, like, I very much could see the Jets going 5-12 or 6-11, while also being like, we have our quarterback. Now let's put some stuff around him.
I'll take a score before you go, Alex. I got 16-10. I think it's gonna be
16-10. That means they cover.
Oh no, we're gonna win.
Oh, the Jets win 6. You have an upset. Okay.
I got like 16-10, like the under and a sloppy game. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like they could be driving and at the end there to like Sam Darnold to win the game, like to try to get it. We just like come up, or I think it's gonna be sloppy. I don't think that many points are gonna be scored on both sides.
Oh man,
honestly.
the Twitter agita that I'm gonna have on Sunday if Darnold's driving with a chance to win, and I'm watching Red Zone. Oh my god,
that's what I feel. That's what I feel, like something just disgusting and sloppy.
I agree it's gonna be sloppy, and I think it's gonna be sloppy on the defensive side. I think I agree with Claudio. I think points are gonna be put up, and we're gonna be quite impressed. I think actually it's now switched to our offense being better, even though our O line is not that solid. We got wide receiver weapons. We got a decent running back core. I think that we can do something on the offensive end, and then as well with Carolina, I think they have enough offensively to do something. Defensively, we took a hit. That's just my concern. And defense for the Panthers. But so was it? What was it? 5.5? Was it 5.5?
Yeah,
5.5. Oh man,
you guys make me sick.
You want me to just say a score that'll make you happy?
No, I don't. I want to say the truth.
Then I think the Jets will lose by 10 on Sunday.
Okay, no doubt. What, Alex? What do you got? Because we're about to go into the.
I said 28. So this is just a week one. They don't cover.
What's the score, Alex?
28-21.
All right, so we're up by 3 points. There you
go. Right, at least you got the under. Okay, cool. All right, last note. And does Shaq Lawson move the needle for you guys? And are you looking for them to add anyone in this season, or do you kind of just want to wait and see how it plays out?
I think they're at the. Go ahead. Andrew, go ahead. No.
Just like, I mean, it's not the Lawson I want starting right now.
Yeah.
That's the entirety of my take on it.
Okay.
It's like it's better probably than what they were gonna replace Carl Lawson with, but it's not enough for me to say, oh, it's fixed. Now it's just okay. That might make a difference more from a depth perspective than it does an actual performance perspective.
A little revenge Miami game. A little revenge game on Flores.
Sure.
Whatever floats his boat.
Yeah.
Shaq Lawson doesn't really move the needle for me that much. I think Andrew hit it right on the head. It's more of like if he can be a depth at the edge, that's awesome. But I don't think it's enough. Do I think they make an in-season move? I think this is going to be hedging. I'm hedging my bets here. I think it all depends on how the team is moving. If we see that Zach Wilson is good and we need to get him some weapons to actually continue and say they're in a playoff push, then yes. If they're just looking at like, oh crap, we're not really going anywhere this season, let's just develop our guys and work with what we got with, then no. That's how I look at it.
Okay, that's fair. So that wraps up really the week one talk we've been waiting on for so long. We're gonna finally break down some film this week. We're finally gonna have some Zach Wilson to digest. Claudio and Alex are going to be in headbands after this game. After Zach Wilson beats Sam Darnold, it's going to be fantastic. But we all know Claudio as the guy who likes to tell the future, right? He started off telling the future about the Knicks, and we're already on opposite sides for week one. And since we have his beautiful face here on our YouTube for the first time, we're going to have to put him under the microscope, and we're going to go through the entire season. So we have some solid evidence to bring him back when we're talking Knicks probably soon.
Yikes.
And we got to bring that back to him. So,
all right, let's go. I see receipts being printed out. I see it.
Receipts
Okay.
are starting.
John's
right
angry now. He just didn't like that you chose the Panthers week 1.
I don't like both of
He
you
really
guys right
didn't.
now.
He
But
didn't.
it's not just you guys. It's also, if you check out Winning Picks Weekly, it's also Greg. So it's really a 1v3 on the week 1. Even just like
Look,
cover.
In the thing about projections and predictions in this industry, I'm very okay being wrong, especially when I think I'm confident in my take. I feel I'm informed enough, and if I'm wrong, great. The Jets won. Like I'm very okay with all of that.
As long as it's informed, right? Like as long as you're doing your research, you're informed. And
I'm
you're
not
like, okay,
telling ananybody to carry the hell on. I'm literally giving you an informed take that's not meant for television. You know?
He wins me back every other week, man. I hate him, and then I love him, then I hate him, and then as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man.
I'll be honest, I don't know how he went. I might just be in the minority then, because there has never been a moment where he's won me. I've just been like, the guy that the fifth option on the 2008 Celtics is like
shout out Kendrick Perkins,
the main
making the
talking
Jets
head on the whatever. I'm not a Kendrick Perkins guy.
I love it. I totally love it.
All right, let's go through the schedule.
Let's go through the schedule. So we'll break it up into quarters as the NFL, players and coaches do. So our first 4, we got at Carolina, home opener. First, Mac Daddy Jones, who, oh my goodness, I've been calling from Bama to New England for 2 years now, and drives me nuts that happened. At Denver, might be at that game. And then back home for Tennessee. Really interesting first 4 games. Back, forth. We already had the Carolina week 1 all set up. Claudio, home opener. Mac Daddy Jones.
I see the tough
Billy
part
B.
Yeah, I know. The tough part is like, I really want to watch what Mac Jones looks like before making my pick. So it's tough. It is tough to do this, but I'll say they lose to the Patriots.
So you're going 0-2.
Yeah, they'll start 0-2.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
So to prep for this, I just remembered I went through their schedule. So I actually think I have a record that I think you'll like, but I don't. Or early on, I won't be great.
All right, we'll see. This is my first time picking each and every single game, so I don't even know what my record's gonna be.
Okay, so this should be fun. Okay,
yeah, it'll be fun.
This is gonna be a good one. Same here. I looked at the schedule. I'm like, I think I have a vivid idea what I want to go with, but for this one, to answer your question, John, I'm gonna go with the Jets actually winning this one. I actually have watched a little bit of Mac Jones, unfortunately, because I'm out here in Boston, and so when I'm at a bar or when I'm just like outside and their TV's on, I'm like, oh look, it's the Patriots. And I get to see what he actually does. He's not bad, but I'm not like impressed, like saying, oh, wow, week 1, season 1, he's going to be a world beater. I actually think this is going to be a good matchup for both teams. I think the Patriots defense is what's going to hold them, like how for the Jets is going to be the defense, what we're expecting this season. So it'll be I'm expecting a tight one, but I actually think the Jets will pull out that victory.
Man, I got this as a big fat L. This is a big fat L. I mean, honest to God, it hurts me to say this, pains me to say this more than any human on the earth. The Patriots to win the AFC East division might be the easiest bet. I mean, it might be the
easiest bet or just a good bet.
It might be the easiest bet of the season.
You think they'll be better than Buffalo this year?
Yeah, I think they don't win the division.
Wow.
It's very hard. They have so many guys coming back. The only inkling, the only hitch is the Gilmore. If Gilmore was here, it would be 100% no problem. So I'm actually worried about the Patriots defense. Bill Belichick does not lose to rookie quarterbacks. I think that Zach Wilson, all the coordinators, all the coaches, it's going to be hard playing that first game at home, especially if you guys are right about week 1 and it's an L. I mean, there's going to be a ton of pressure, which is not going to be great. I got this as a loss. I got us 1-1.
All right.
Denver. So I'm 1-1. Alex 1-1. Claudio, I'm gonna start with you here, man. I'm gonna let you redeem yourself.
All right.
Because we're going to a Mile High. I know they don't have a quarterback, but they have a defense. Week 3 in Mile High, coming off a beating from Billy B. Probably. What do you got?
This will be their first one.
Wow, that's insane, dude.
Yeah, I know. This will be their first win.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
If Denver had a quarterback, I'd be much higher on them. But I'm not afraid. I'm ready for Denver to actually like happen before I'm actually predicting Denver to do things against our team. So like in general, Denver, I'm kind of out on until Fangio's out. Until
me too. Oh,
like,
I'm so out.
I've seen the projections of people saying that they're a sneaky playoff team, and it's like they're not the playoff team.
Absolutely not.
In that division. No way.
Claudio, those are the same people picking the Falcons. We just ignore them.
Right, which I mean, spoiler alert for later in this. Like, I'm not that big a fan of the Falcons either. Although Kyle Pitts is on my fantasy team, so I'd be okay if he puts up a big year while they're trailing all the time. You know.
Okay, off topic. What round did you pick him? Because I'm
he's my backup tight end. He's my backup tight end.
Fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah,
I'm okay. You're okay. You can stay.
Yeah, I took the Packers. The Packers.
Okay, yeah, Tanya.
I took him as my starter.
Okay,
and I got Pitts as my backup. So.
That's fine. Okay, we'll talk about the Falcons later.
Yes.
All right.
I think after 3 weeks of looking great, and also the drop off of going against the Belichick defense and seeing what that looks like, and then going into Denver, like even if Denver might have a good defense, they're not. I don't think they're going to be as good as the Patriots. I don't know if you think they're going to be as good as the Patriots.
I think Denver's going to be bottom 5 team.
So then why bring Zach Wilson's first career win going into Denver, and then all of a sudden we're like, okay, we got a quarterback.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. I'm actually going to go for me. I got a nice little winning streak going on here. We're going to win again in Denver because I don't believe it. As you guys, I don't believe anything that's going on in Denver. I think there are situations. They got nice weapons, but no one can get the weapons of the ball. So big issue out there. Defense is probably going to be good, but I think this is going to be the first time where haven't the Jets even won? When was the last time we won in Mile High? Good Lord.
Great question.
The Jets do not win at 4:00. The Jets do not win at Mile High. The Jets do not win on the West Coast. Like, you guys should know these. These are like day one rules right here. So
these are, but you know what? we're sniffing a new era. So
new era. Rob Saleh's only played on the West Coast. Only been coaching on the West Coast. This is his area. He will have the team ready. Yes.
This is a big fat L.
Okay.
This is an L. This is an L. I'm 1-2 right now. I'm 1-2. But we got the Sam Darnold win.
Same.
So everybody's happy. You know what I mean? Everyone's happy right now. We're riding high. And then we come home for Tennessee.
Oh, man.
Are you scared of Tennessee, Alex? What do you got?
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. Talk to me.
I don't like it, man. I just
you like Tennessee this year.
I like Tennessee. I think they're going to be like last season where they're going to be competitive. I don't necessarily. I think it's going to be. I think it's either going to be them or the Colts winning the AFC South, and I think it's tight right now. They got a lot of weapons, man. They're good, man.
Alex, you clearly haven't been listening to Winning Picks Weekly. It's very obvious because the Cardinals are the obvious bet in that division. Oh, wrong division. We're talking about the Colts. Okay, yeah, Colts.
The
Colts Titans.
Yeah.
Colts Titans. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I got the Titans, man. I think Ryan Tannehill. I think everything they got going on in Tennessee right now. They've only been on the up and up. They just went to they were in the championship 2 years ago. I think they underperformed last season. I think that was more due to a COVID year. I think they're going to bounce right back and get right back on track. Ryan Tannehill, we see that he's now a good quarterback.
Ugh.
He's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's great. He's good. He did well. And then
Claudio, this guy's talking up Ryan Tannehill. Ugh.
I mean, I think Tannehill. I mean, I have respect for Tannehill. I think a little more than you do. Absolutely. While admitting that I think the system has had more to do with, again, the not Adam Gase stuff factor. I think the system has had more to do with why he's been so successful. They've just simplified the game plan. A lot of it's just been handed off to the league's best back behind one of the better offensive lines and a better offensive schemes. I have no idea what to expect out of Julio, whether it's like he's actually going to be a target that they use, or whether this is just same. Whether it's like something they're actually going to use as a weapon, or if it's just more of a decoy.
Yeah.
Because their system is in wide receiver heavy, However, eventually these reps all going to have to catch up to Derrick Henry, right? And that being said, I don't think the
That's
Jets.
why he usually gets sorry to cut you. He usually gets hyped at the end of the season.
Yeah, but at a certain point, when do the reps like overall like the when does the toll start to show? Which I think this season could be the year that it shows. However, I don't think this Jets defense is the time that it's gonna show. So
and to add on to your reps, I think since he's had such a slow start to like, sorry, it's like things are just falling down in my house.
Yeah, man, you got cats. We get it.
I got cats over here. They're just going haywire. No, I think with like Derrick Henry, I think since he had like a late start to his career, not necessarily playing wise, but like really coming onto the scene, I think he still has a little bit more to go as a running back. Also, just looking at like Julio Jones, AJ Brown, like on that team, I think even if it's just decoys, like you still have to honor them. And I don't think our cornerbacks are there to like cover those two guys. Yeah. Like you're saying, hey, guess what, Hall? You're going to be guarding AJ Brown today. Brandon Eccles, you're guarding Julio Jones. You ready? If I was Eccles, I'd be like, oh crap, man, I've got to guard Julio Jones. It's like a tall order. Now, granted, Julio Jones will, he's injured right now and supposedly he's healthy and ready to go, but we'll see. I don't have a lot of faith in the Jets being the Titans just because offensively trying to keep up with them, especially if we can't get the pressure on them with since they do have a good O-line. I got this one as a big fat L for the Jets.
Same.
Okay. So I apologize for the little mess up in the beginning. Sorry, a little excited about week 1, but regarding the Titans, I was so excited about the Titans, especially from what they did last year, right? Just like at the end of the year, I was like, oh my goodness, they're going to do good. But again, Malcolm Butler, he was so instrumental to that defense. And once he moved, I think it was a way bigger deal than people made it out to be. Their defense got worse. They lost Gerard Davis. They lost a bunch of pieces. Their coach has been out with COVID, so I don't know what's been going on the last month. You know what I mean? So I guess it's hard. Now we're getting into like, we don't know anything now, right? We're in week 4. Like we're past, what knowledge we know now at September 8th. I just don't trust the Titans. They're a team that gets up later. Yeah, they're a team that gets up later, man. Derrick Henry in the winter months, you can't tackle him. Derrick Henry in the first couple months, especially as a dynasty fantasy owner, I can tell you, it takes them a little bit of time. So I'm going to take this W, which gets me at 2-2.
Yeah, it does. Wow.
Carolina, week 1 and week 4 with a little sandwich. What do you guys got?
We got 1 and 3 right now. So
yeah, 1 and 3.
We both got 1 and 3.
So this brings us to
London.
My favorite game, London, which I will be.
Where you'll be at.
I will be at that game. Wow. I got row 1 tickets to Jets in Tottenham. Should be really exciting. I hope it's behind the Jets sideline. We don't know yet. So
how mad are you gonna be if you flew around the world to? It's gonna be the Falcons. Okay.
I just know it is. I just know. That's what it is to be a Jets fan. Like I just know. I'm gonna drive around. I'm gonna fly around the whole world. In COVID,
very long drive.
Get to London.
Impressive drive.
Yes.
Maybe get a stadium tour at one of the stadiums. Still thinking about which one. Only to sit behind the Falcons row 1 and obviously lose, and then be the worst flight back. However, guys, the Atlanta Falcons will be the worst team in the NFL this year.
Wow.
Literally the worst team in the NFL. You know who their left guard is?
Who?
He used to be Andrews. Remember Andrews from last year? On the Jets.
Okay.
He broke his wrist last week. They're using his backup.
Wow.
They have a rookie head coach. Matt Ryan was terrible. They lost Julio Jones. Now Ridley's going to come in. I know Ridley had that amazing, wonderful catch during the training camp where he had 6.5 minutes to get open. It was amazing. It was great. He might have 1 or 2 of those a game. I think the Falcons, with Mike Davis as their running back, with no weapons on either side of the ball, are going to have to rely on their defense. I think the Falcons are going to be the worst team in the NFL. Matt Ryan's going to go, and they're going to officially start over. All right. I need this as a W, especially because I'm going to be there. This is like no doubt in my mind. This has to be a W.
So I actually going to say that the Jets are going to beat the Falcons. and with your sentiment, John, that the Falcons just stink, in my opinion. Everything just stinks. Matt Ryan is usually not good with a rookie head coach or rookie offensive coordinator. Like it's just like a good tracker you go check out. The Falcons are not good first year with Matt Ryan with the new coach. It's just plain and simple. You also mentioned that getting rid of Julio Jones. They got I think it's Gage, right?
Yeah.
They got Gage. They got all these new guys at wide receiver, not Julio Jones, who's a premier wide receiver one. I don't see that offense moving. And who they got? Who's the running? Is it Mike Davis?
It's Mike Davis, man. They got him from Carolina. I know, that's what I'm, dude. I honestly think
it's so pathetic.
I legit think the Atlanta Falcons are gonna be the worst team. That's why Claudio brought it up. The same people that are picking Denver and Atlanta, like they actually drive me nuts. Those are also the same people that are saying that the Cowboys offensive line is ready to go this year. Like it just like there's just these narratives that just like are like they just memorized and they just like keep going back. You know what I mean? Jets stink. You know, it's just like a constant, and it's never gonna change. I mean, they're right about the Jets thinking one, but I really don't see Denver or Atlanta or Chicago doing anything this year.
See, this is why I think like the Jets are gonna beat the Falcons, just because a lot of new players, Matt Ryan on that bloated contract that's now just aging like milk.
He's aging like milk, bro.
I think he's still got a little bit left. I think he's man, I think he's in like that Stafford where it's like if he's on the right team and the right system, he can get something out of him.
I think it's more of the Phillip Rivers toward the end role. I think that's where he is now. Not as like
I think he's worse.
I don't know if he's worse. I think it's almost exact. Like I do think there's a competent quarterback there, but there's the amount of things he's able to do is limited at this point, which like he's an older quarterback. You expect that. I think the Jets win this game too. This is more of a vote of confidence.
Wow. Are we finally all together?
I think we're all 2-3.
Yes.
Well, you're 3 and
week
2.
5. Yeah, but it took us to week 5 to get there. So for all consensus on a game.
Oh, we're all consensus on a game. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, wait. Who had them beating the Patriots?
I did.
You did. And then are we all seeing them lose to Tennessee?
I have a win.
You have a win in Tennessee. So you're 3 and 2, and we're 2 and 3 so far.
Yeah. So then we have our beloved bye week, and then we're in New England.
Lost
after we lost the first one. This is gonna be my win. Off a bye week. I know. This is gonna be my Patriots split. We have to split. Okay. I don't think we're gonna win at home. I know. Off a bye week, I know that's weird. The New England is gonna have Dallas at home the week before. It could be a revamped Dallas. They could maybe hopefully run them down. Mac Jones, as the season progresses, is going to get worse, not better. That's how I think it's going to go. I think he's going to more hit of a rookie wall rather than continue to get better. So that's going to be my win. Alex, it looks like you agree.
I disagree with everything. I think this is a big. There's no way Bill Belichick will allow the New York Jets to walk into freaking Gillette Stadium and hand him an L. There's just no way it's going to happen. I actually think that Mac Jones is going to get. I think he's going to be average throughout the year. I don't think he's going to get progressively better. I think he's going to be average his entire season. But I just think that there's the Jets winning in New England with the New England fans, with just the whole environment. I just don't see that happening. I think we split this season. I think the Jets win at home, and I think it's just such.
So you got the split the other way.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's in our advantage. I think the schedule. This is like one of the only scheduled games that actually works in our favor. Like they gave Patriots a 4 o'clock the week before. They gave us a bye week, and before that, we have a pretty easy game. This is like the best thing they ever did for us.
Here's a fun fact for you. My birthday is October 21st. Thank you. The Patriots and the Jets always play around my birthday, whether it's October 21st or the 24th. They always play. I always ask for the same thing for my birthday. Just a Jets win. Just a Jets win. A Jets win. Have I ever gotten that win? Once. So that should tell you in my confidence in the New York Jets beating the Patriots for my birthday.
That's something to take to your pick show. Like that's those odds. Jeez, that's a pattern.
That's a trend.
Yeah.
Alex's birthday, Patriots, Jets.
I am not picking Zach Wilson to go into Foxborough his first time and win. He literally talked about how the Bill Belichick does against rookie quarterbacks. I'm not that bold. So I do think Wilson's going to look good this year. Will probably look good against the Patriots in both games. I'm not predicting like even if Mac Jones is regressing, he doesn't play defense for the Jets. Like, or he's not playing defense for the Patriots. Belichick will have enough weapons and enough stops pulled out that will allow for the Jets to unfortunately fall to 2-4. Wow, you have them at 4-2.
Yeah, at this point, looks like it. Which now I'm looking back at it, I don't love that, but it's funny. It's funny enough because
receipts,
Cincinnati is like, I had that L the second I saw the schedule. Cincinnati at home, Halloween weekend is after the Patriots game, like in between at Foxborough and at in Indy, Lucas Oil. That is the biggest L I've ever seen in my life. That's the biggest trap game. The Jets are going to be favored in that game. I'm telling you right now. And you better bang Cincinnati because week 8, Cincinnati is going to absolutely murder the Jets. I truly see that happening.
Joe Burrow comes out and actually slings it. And
he's going to be like bad all year. Joe Mixon's going to have like 100,000 yards. Like, I don't even want to know. T. Higgins is going to, their wide receivers are so fast. They have so many of them. And Boyd and Chase and Higgins, like they're gonna kill us, man. I am actually, that's gonna be a super fat L and a fun trap game because I'm betting Cincinnati. I'm telling you right now.
So, thinking about my history as a Jets fan, what's a realistic scenario is similar to what you said, minus the Jets going into Foxborough and winning. Where like they go into Foxborough, they cover. And it's like, yo, Zach Wilson.
That's what I'm saying.
Might have something.
That's what I'm saying. 4-2. Zach
Wilson, London. Well, I'm more like they fall to 2-4, but they have the guy. And then the complete drop in energy and complete. I don't necessarily call it a trap game because I don't think they're gonna be looking ahead to Indy. At least for me, they won't be looking ahead to Indy. Although in your scenario, if they were staring at 5-2 and they're playing the Bengals.
Well, they're not going to be staring ahead. They're just going to be excited. They'll be like, oh, my goodness. Like, we just, like, look at our record.
The letdown of beating if they beat the Patriots and the letdown of playing Cincy is there, then, that's
at home.
See, here's the problem. Like, I have a little more confidence. I have a lot of confidence in this coaching staff to not let that happen. So I'm even tempted to be like, they're not going to have a letdown. There's no Adam Gase letdown here where they're going to lose to 2 winless teams in the same season, you know? I'm a little more confidence in this. I have a little more confidence in this team is what I'll say. However, fuck it. I haven't predicted a lot of wins with my confidence in this Jets team. They'll beat Cincinnati. They'll be 3-4.
Okay.
And because I'm in the same boat as Claudio with like the win-loss record, I actually have I would have the Jets beating Cincinnati too, because I feel like, all right, you go to New England, you're not going to win. You're not looking ahead of the schedule, but you get someone who's in your class, like in your realm where it's like, okay, this is going to be a game that we can come in and win. And we're going to show this is where the all gas, no breaks, rah comes in from Robert Saleh, and the Jets go out there and they go do it.
I have a question. Like you're okay with Mac Jones killing us both times?
He's not going to.
I have no say over it. I don't play. Like I'm just saying what's going to happen.
Because he's a rookie too. Like, do you think that, I'm saying, do you think like that plays? That's what I meant. Like, do you think that plays a factor back into Salah being a defensive coach? You know what I mean? And he.
I see your point. I think the Patriots will do enough for Jones that will make him have the best path to success possible. My slander about the Miami Heat before does not apply to the New England Patriots. I will be afraid of them for the rest of my life. Like Cam Newton at quarterback last year. I was like, yep, going 12-4, whatever. They will figure out a way to do it at all times. And if I we forget they were 6-6 and in position to play for a playoff spot last year. And then Cam Newton just decided, you know what? I suck. So I legitimately, now that everybody's back and they spent a ton of money and Jones did look good in the preseason, I'm confident that they will look good enough, regardless of what the Jets do on defense and what other teams do on defense this year.
Okay. So I have an L. Do you have an L for Cincy?
No, I have a W for Cincy.
Oh, Alex.
W.
Oh, okay. So I'm about myself on that one.
Yeah. Well, you've set it up perfectly that they're 4-2 coming off a big Pats win, and then the letdown of now we're playing Cincy. We got this. And it's like, oh, you're actually not that good.
And then we go to Indy and we lose that game on a Thursday.
4 days later. Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
That's a super L. Super L.
Yeah. It's
their linebackers are unbelievable, and we have to run the ball. And like, that's what it comes down to. Like, what's our game plan versus our strength and weaknesses? Like, our strength, we're just going to run the ball 1,000 million times. That's why, like, it's like Carolina, like you have good cornerbacks. That's great. We're not throwing, dude. Like, if we do throw, it's going to be to Cole, for 3 yards. Like, like that's the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's going to work. And I think that's going to be the opposite of what Indy does. Indy's going to be like, listen, man, you're going to get no rushing yards. Zach Wilson, good luck. And we're going to get Creed in there. So that's another L for me. Alex.
Oh, Indy, we're not winning on a Thursday night football game with a rookie squad. Hell no. That's just not realistic.
So you guys got us on a 3-game on a
3-game losing streak coming out the bye. Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. All right.
Oh no, we have them beating. We have them beating Cincy.
Yeah.
We have them 3-5 through 8. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. This is the biggest game. Just the way this schedule is shaping up, either way, right? I'm the optimist here right now. You guys are the pessimists, and this game looks like it's going to shape up our whole season. So we're at Buffalo.
No, we're home.
Oh, we're home versus Buffalo.
Yeah,
week 10. We got 2 home games, 2 home division games in a row. We got Buffalo and then we got Miami.
Yeah, it's interesting that's how the schedule works out. That it's the rest of the season. It's 2 home road, 2 home road, 2 home road. That's their final. That's their final 12 games. Yeah.
Very kind to us. Especially last year we had the worst schedule. They're very kind to us this year. So, what do you guys think? I think we have to split these division wins.
I was about to say that exactly. We're going to split these games. I just don't know. It's so hard to guess which one we split because we're going to split. I feel like we're splitting this within our division. We're not going to beat Miami twice. We're not going to beat Buffalo twice. I'm kind of hesitant to say that we.
So you think 2 and 4 in the division? You think we split? You think we split Miami and Buffalo, and then we lose both to New England?
No, we split New England. I have them splitting.
All of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Claudio, yeah. So it's gonna end up with 2 wins then. This thing.
I'm looking at the schedule, guys. Just saying.
I think, because I think the unrealistic thing. See, what's hard is actually now I'm looking at it. I don't even know if we can actually beat Buffalo because I feel like beating Buffalo at the end. I'm just jumping ahead here. The Jets beating Buffalo in Buffalo.
Don't tell me about Week 18 at Buffalo, Alex. My PTSD is not ready for that.
Claudio, do you know that John was at when we had Fitzmagic?
The 2015, the 2016 game?
He was in
2015.
Yep, he was in Buffalo for that game when they were 10.
Oh my god.
I drove to that game with my girlfriend at the time. It's tough.
Oh no.
Tough, man.
That was brutal. So the
cornerbacks pointing at Eric Decker.
Who's the guy that dropped the pass in the last minute?
Dude, the only people that the only vivid memories I have is Ryan Fitzpatrick pointing at Eric Decker. He did this audible 2 times. He pointed at Eric Decker and then the cornerback literally I watched this on Game Pass recently too, just to try to get it out of my system. Literally points at Eric Decker, and then he runs the play. He throws him the same interception 2 times. Mm-hmm. Once it was in front of the end zone. One time it was in the middle of the end zone. Fantastic. Oh man.
I mean, if it's any,
we have to win that game. We have to win that Week 18 freaking game. I don't give a damn. The Week 1 and 18 are huge for my personal well-being. I don't forget the Jets, bro.
If it's any consolation, I don't think Week 18 is going to matter like that for the Jets. So
that's fine. That's fine.
You just need to win regardless.
I just need to win in Buffalo Week 18. All right.
So here we go. I think we lose to Buffalo in week 10, and then we follow up with a win versus Miami. I think that's what I see happening.
I like
for
that.
these 2 games.
I like that. That's a 3-game losing streak for me. Going into Miami, the Miami game, and I think that's a W.
What about you, Claudio? What are you feeling?
Am I allowed to be a bit of a pessimist on the spot?
You can absolutely.
See, again,
man.
This goes back to when we first talked about week 2 against the Pats. I would like to have a body of data on some teams before I make picks on them.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I don't know what Tua is going to look like in week 11 for me to make this prediction. I'm going to put a little more confidence in the Dolphins and also a little more confident. I think the Bills are going to be really good. I think they're going to win the division. So I'm have them losing to the Bills. Let me look at Miami's schedule real quick. Are the Jets a trap game for them potentially? Because if that's on the table, then when they play the Jets, they will be coming off of 10 days off. I'm picking them to lose to Dolphins too.
Okay.
Yeah, they're playing Thursday night the week before, so they'll have extra rest, and they're going to the Jet. Like they're playing Carolina the next week. This is, if you look at it for the Dolphins, after they play Baltimore on Thursday night, it's the Jets, Carolina, the Giants, the bye, the Jets. So that is like the easy portion of their schedule. I'm going to pick the Jets lose both of these games. Look competitive, but talent will eventually win out, especially at this point in the season.
See, for me, at this point of the season, I'm looking at how good has Tua been. I know we don't have enough data.
That's the issue. Maybe he's that bad, and I have nothing. Like, the Jets are going to beat Tua twice. That's
the whole fun. That's the whole fun of this, man. It's like predictions, way too we're not even way too early. It's just early predictions. But I actually for me, I don't think Tua is going to be that good. Personally, I think if the Dolphins are actually out here shopping him for Deshaun Watson and saying we don't have that much confidence in you, either Tua gets it either goes 2 ways. It's either Tua gets the fire under his ass to say, guess what, I am your guy and you should have faith in me and not put me in these trade rumors, or he folds and pulls a Mark Sanchez and just keeps his head down. We just see this kid crumble and he needs a new situation. I'm going for the latter. Not that I want that to see it happen. I just don't. I think asking your second-year quarterback to be that guy is just a tall order, and to put this much pressure on him, I just don't see, unless Flores is just that whimsical and that great of a head coach to keep this guy level-headed throughout the entire season and to keep him focused. I think Flores is a good coach. I don't necessarily see that coming from him and to put Tua in that position to succeed. So for Miami, I actually have this as a win for the Jets for those reasons. That's just my take on the Miami situation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Tua stinks. That it's pretty easy for me. Tua stinks. I do respect the Miami defense. I also respect the way they play football, like running, tight ends, solid, hard-nosed D. Flores is hated / loved. I like them. I got a split here. Give me the loss versus Buffalo and the win versus Miami.
All right.
And then we're on to Houston, and this better be a win, guys. This better be a win.
I have the Jets beating what I think will be the worst team in the NFL this year.
Yep.
Around Thanksgiving too. We better win this game. Okay.
Oh, 100%.
That is Thanksgiving weekend, isn't it?
Yeah. So
yes, sir.
We need that. Okay. And I think that's finally another one that we all have consensus on.
Yes. For sure.
It's tough. We only got 2 so far. and then we're home for Philly and for New Orleans. The Jets have never beaten Philadelphia in the history of football. So that's a total L for me. And I think the Saints stink. So that's another split for me. Give me the L versus the Eagles and the W versus the Saints. I don't know who's going to be throwing for the Saints. If it's Winston, we'll get turnovers. If it's Hill, the score will be 10-7 and we'll win. It'll just be runs all day.
Yeah. So the Jets have never beaten the Eagles, right? That is a legendary Jets thing, right?
Yeah, we sick.
Yes, sir.
We stink, man.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
This is
hot take coming.
I think the Eagles stink, guys. That's not a hot take. The Eagles stink. They're not gonna this worst division in the NFL. I think that's consensus among everybody. I'm supposed to think that all of a sudden that the Eagles, because of this narrative that goes back to a regime that doesn't have anything to do with the Jets, is gonna show up. No, this will be the year. This weird year where the Jets don't make the playoffs, in my rankings. Like this weird year where all this like bad stuff may potentially happen, like losing Lawson, but Wilson looked good. The one thing we'll point to is like, hey, that's the year they beat the Eagles. Finally, it's like the 2013 Mets where it's like, not a lot of good stuff happened, but they threw a no-hitter finally, so absolutely, this is what we can point to is how the 2013 season was memorable. The Jets will finally beat the Eagles, and I'm a little higher on the Saints than you guys are. Clearly.
Really?
So yeah,
Jameis.
I think Jameis with the right, we forget
with the right
that they
contacts.
We'll see what LASIK does, but I don't know. You don't think that a year under his belt just watching was good for him? And then he comes in. Look, he just has to not throw 30 interceptions. He can throw 15, and that's still too many, but just cut those in half in a system that,
no Michael Thomas.
Fair. Still, I think
does Alvin Kamara move it for you?
He does, which is why it's also like the thing you guys have said about your concerns with the Jets secondary. I'm not exactly confident the Jets are going to be forcing a lot of Jameis turnovers either. So again, this all goes back to if the Jets were putting so much pressure and shutting down Kamara, then it'd be different. But the Lawson injury changed everything for me for this, my outlook on this season, guys. I went from thinking 11-6 to potentially thinking 6-11 or worse. So.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's fair. And I would,
but they beat the Eagles, and I can tell everybody in Philadelphia that I have more Eagle fans I hate than Giant fans, by the way. So
really,
yes, I went to school in Virginia, and every single person, like it was a school from everywhere. It wasn't like a Virginia school, so I had people from the Eagles, the Eagles fans that hate people from Philly that I'd talk shit with. Like it was also during a time when Mets Phillies was a thing, So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy rubbing that in some people's faces.
That's gonna be great.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna go with 2 losses back to back here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And the season starts to spiral.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I don't see this. Yeah, I don't see it spiraling. I just see it like I think the Eagles thing is just too legit to like overcome at this point. I think it's just a stupid thing that just happened. There's just like stupid things in the NFL that just stay true. Like it can be like freaking I don't know, like Tom Brady having like Peyton Manning's GOAT, or just like having Philip Rivers' GOAT, something like that. Or it's just like the Jets can never beat the Eagles. And I feel like that thing is just going to live on for a very long time. Not that it won't be broken, but I just think we're not there yet, just because the record is still so fresh. It's I think this would be 10. Like the 10th win if the Eagles do it. And I think it's still fresh enough where, 10 wins for the Eagles is just so stupid that it's just like some algorithm that you're like, can we mess with it? No, it's just going to keep producing the same outcome day in and day out. And I think we're just going to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just ingrained to me at this point. And then for New Orleans, I think I'm with Claudio, and I'm kind of with John, where I don't see Winston as like this good quarterback, but I don't see him as a terrible quarterback either. I think he'll be just decent enough to like keep the things going like in New Orleans, and they'll be a fun competitive team. They'll make it interesting. We know the Bucs are just going to do it this year again. But I think they'll give them, some fun in that division, because the Falcons are going to stink. Carolina, they could pop. I'm not so sold that they will pop. And I think New Orleans is going to be that second best team in that division.
Okay.
But hey.
All right, so I mean, if I got this correctly, I got 7 wins going into the last quarter of the season.
How much do we have?
Not 7 wins.
Not 7 wins. I don't know how much you have.
I have them beating Denver. I have them beating Atlanta. I have them beating Cincy. I have them beating Houston.
4.
And I have them beating the Eagles. So I have 5 wins so far.
That's 5. Okay, just 2 off. Just 2 off. Alex, what do you got?
I got them beating New England. Did I say they were beating Denver? I said they were beating Denver. No?
I think you did.
No, I did have them because I think they're I had them being New England, Denver, because it was 2. We were 2-1 at that point, and it was reversed for John. He started off 1-2.
You had them losing at Denver, because then you had them losing at Tennessee and then beating Atlanta, because you and I were both 2-3 going into the bye.
Yes.
But you're right. So 2 and 3 at that point. So is it 3 and 4? I had them being Cincinnati. I had them being Miami and Houston.
Okay.
So was that 5, 6
Yeah,
wins?
so we both have 5 wins. We both have 5 wins.
Both
Yeah.
have 5. Okay, I have 7 going into the last 4. Let's wrap up these last 4. This is an L in Miami. Jets don't win in Miami at the end of the season when it's nice out over there. Never happens. So that's an L. Jacksonville stinks. Urban Meyer stinks. That whole team is awful. We're going to beat Jacksonville at home.
Okay.
They're not going to travel. Get out of here. We're going to get absolutely killed versus Tampa. And then we better win in Buffalo. I don't care what the circumstance is. I literally do not care.
Okay.
So,
Alex.
All right. So to wrap this up, then I got us. Oh man, I actually agree with you.
It's a split at the end. That's 9 wins, baby.
I agree with you on
that.
Miami. I agree with you on Miami that we're losing in Miami. We are going to beat Jacksonville. I think Urban Meyer he's going to realize how tough it is in the NFL and want to go back to college. We are going to get our asses handed to us by Tampa, and Buffalo will probably be resting their players at that point. So I expect us to beat Buffalo.
Interesting. I have them losing Miami also because I think Miami, aside from they don't win in Miami this late in the season thing, I also think Miami will have something to play for. So with the Jets, not necessarily, I think it'll be more competitive than some of the games we saw from the Jets last year, but I think Miami wins that game. Jacksonville, I'm actually very ready to laugh at Jacksonville all season. So I'm with you on the Jets win that game.
I am ready to laugh at Jacksonville.
And potentially even start to turn some heads that, hey, maybe the Jets didn't lose out on Trevor Lawrence. While I think it will not be Lawrence's fault if the Jags are a mess, I think I just needed to be that everyone was super wrong about how Trevor Lawrence should want to get his master's degree
before go the Jets, and no one said a word about Jacksonville. Like that piece by Jeremy Schaap, I cannot get over it. I will retweet it until my eyes bleed. It's the most I can't believe they posted it. I can't believe it. Like that was a real thing that he gave to his employer, and they posted it like about how the Jets are basically like the worst thing to ever happen to this world, and they would like ruin Trevor Lawrence's like mental health. If he went there, it was unbelievable.
This will be the most losing Trevor Lawrence has done in his life. And it will be humbling to a certain point with a coach that I'm sorry, like maybe one of the greatest college coaches ever. I don't think what he does you can't say he's not, dude. Like the results are there.
He's just such a snake.
The results are there though. Like, terrible person. That's not
what 100%.
I'm arguing here. I'm saying Rick Pitino, terrible person. One of the greatest college coaches of all time. Having said all of this, I think the Jets beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nothing to say about the Bucks. I think that's the season. That's the game that the Bucks clinched the best record in the NFL. And then Buffalo, I think, will be playing for the division. And I don't have a PTSD of the 2015 game in Buffalo like John does. So I'm actually like less they need to win that game. And I'm more like, I don't think they will win that game because of Buffalo still needing to either hold off the Patriots, potentially playing for a 1 seed and trying to avoid trying to play for a bye could be potential for Buffalo. So I have, surprisingly 6-11 is what I end up with the Jets, which is around where I think when I went through the schedule and did the whole league the other day, I think that's where I had the Jets ending up with.
Okay. No, that's like what middle of the road draft pick, like 8th pick.
It's probably around there.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm in middle of the road. Like if they get a top 10 pick out of this season, like
that is a top 10.
I
think 6-1's a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
All right. Alex, what do you got us closing off at?
Well, I got 7-11.
All right,
this is 7-10. Sorry, 7-10.
All right, and I got 9 wins.
9-8. That potentially could be a playoff berth, dude.
You think so? You think 9?
Yeah. Why not?
In the AFC?
Yeah, why not?
Look, they just added more.
They did add that one extra draft spot. It's possible. I mean, they could also surprise us, right? Win that Cincinnati game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe beat Philly. Who knows?
Man, the praise I will come on here and give you if the Jets go 10-7 or 9-8, I swear, your word will be gospel to the point where every Sunday when I'm making my bets, I will DM you. I will put your bets on Knicks Film School's Twitter feed.
I got you, bro.
Listen to everything he says. He predicted that this team with so little talent will go 10-7 this year. And damn it,
I got you, man. We're here. Winning Picks Weekly is here.
Yes.
Knicks, Jets, etc. is here. The Knicks are here. Thank you to everyone who stayed on for this pod. It's week 1. I mean, we're just so excited. We literally cannot stop thinking about it. We can't stop talking about it. There's so much to get through. But yeah, I mean, you guys have anything else to add?
I have nothing else to add for the Jets. He's just excited to see Zach Wilson get into it. But unless Claudio wants to add anything more on the Jets, I do want to hype up Andrew Claudio's new pod, final review, man, because been listening to that the social network.
Mm-hmm.
That was loved episode 1, man. Love episode 1.
Thank you. It's a fun concept that my partner and I, Bernardo Zrowski, who is a film critic by hobby, but is also becoming film critic by trade. The guy's film library is ridiculous. He's given me access to it. It's over 6,000 movies that I can go through every time I need to do research for these pods.
Wow.
Basically, every week we take a different movie considered an all-time great. The criteria is 2 of 3, certified fresh and Rotten Tomatoes, 100 million grossed at the box office, or 1 Academy Award nomination. If you hit 2 of those, you qualify to be on our show. We go through the greatest movies of all time, and we debate just how great they actually are by looking at certain elements. So if you missed it on the Social Network, everybody, the Social Network 2010, David Fincher and Aaron Sorkin teamed up and wrote a movie about Facebook, and it's widely regarded as one of the best of the decade, one of the best of the century. And for me, it is one of the best of the decade and the century. And we went through, is it a top 5 David Fincher movie? Is it a top 5 Aaron Sorkin movie? Is it a top 5 Andrew Garfield movie? Is it a top 5 courtroom drama? And we do 10 different categories and then add up a score at the end and see where it falls on the pantheon. So if you're like, think about ranking quarterbacks, like how do we do that in today's day and age? We're ranking the all-time greats, right? Different eras apply, different circumstances apply. And what we're doing is literally ranking all of the all-time greats by looking at certain elements that made them great compared to some other things. It's a fun concept. Tomorrow, I guess, I don't know when this is being released, but
the day of probably. Go ahead. What do you got? What do you got coming out?
So The Dark Knight, the 2008 Christopher Nolan epic,
one of my favorites, man,
is episode 2, and it made sense to hit the superhero market early on. I am just warning you, Oz has some takes, and
man.
you will be interested to hear what his thoughts are on The Dark Knight, on the hype around The Dark Knight, the cult following that's come with that movie.
Can I just say, I'll say something. Let me just say this first. I will probably listen to that thing because I already listened to the Social Network one probably 2-3 times already.
Really?
Yeah, no,
that makes me happy.
I actually did because it's really well done. Like just hearing you and Bernard just go into it and like really deep diving. Also the editing, like the audio editing of that is just, you get this whole Social Network, like the right scenes. Like we're not coming back for 30%. We're coming back for it all. Like when you like open up with that, but just the intro using the movie and just all the way you just clip the audio and just add it to the podcast too. Like I'm just feeling it. It is just so well freaking done. And this is just not trying to like blow smoke up your ass. It's just like,
nah,
this is
keep
just like, it's like really,
I'm like, spread. You're good.
It's just really, really good. It's just really well done. I like the whole thought process. I'm looking forward to the Dark Knight review. I gave you my reviews on Twitter. I saw Macri's Logan being number 1. Macri, I don't know how you can do that. That's just You're gonna side with that one?
No spoil. I don't want to spoil anything for tomorrow, but if that's how you feel about Macri's ranking, I don't know if you're gonna love mine either. So I'm
just like, I don't know. Like I have a thing against Logan. I like
Logan. Let me hear it.
Nothing against Logan. I have nothing against Logan. I don't know. I just like, there's other super movies that I just enjoy more than that. I guess it's just, I'm also like partial to Spider-Man. Like I gave my rank as like the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Like that holds true and dear in my heart, just because I thought that was really well done. When they did Spider-Man, sure, the CGI, I think the CGI actually kind of aged decently. It wasn't terrible for that, but I think the storyline was good. I like when Peter Parker is like a high schooler and just like on that. It was like high school, college, like that whole timeline. I do like that aspect. I feel like the new ones, they don't really capture me. So
to your point, and there's two things I'll say. To your point about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2 is that movie for me, where I'd put like it. That's in my top 10.
Okay.
I love the Doc Ock villain. I'm glad he's gonna be back. The newer ones, there's a hint of on this episode of the MCU with both Spider-Man movies, you know, where the MCU, the Avengers movies are really the only ones that matter to the overall narrative of, because that's when something finalized is actually presented to you. Whereas with like Thor, this week on Thor, this is how we move his story along. This week on Cap, we move his story along, and so on and so forth. I like the Tom Holland Spider-Man because he actually looks like a kid. And I actually feel like, I actually feel like, oh, this is a teenager in high school dealing with teenage problems. The Garfield one, I just think is indefensible. The guy invents Facebook and then goes in.
By the way,
is in 16-year-old. You know,
I haven't seen the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Just throwing it out there. But once you connected the two dots on your pod, I was like I gave that face like, oh shit, that is him, isn't it? I was like, wow.
And the other thing, like the disagreement we just had about Logan, like that's the spirit of this show, is that art is subjective. Yep. And if you feel a certain way about a movie, you're not wrong if you think that I'm not going to say you're wrong if we disagree on what the number one superhero movie is.
For sure. Yeah.
We want people to go through the list with us and like, this would be my top 5 in this category. And this would be and then you get to see what your pantheon looks like at the very end. So,
and there's also perspective.
Exactly.
Because I'm the same way with hype. If things are too hyped, I'm like automatic. I don't even want to watch it because I know I'm not going to like it. Let me just wait on it till the hype. Like even Game of Thrones, it's like, let me just wait a little because I'm going to hate it. Like, let me just
wise to wait on Game of Thrones.
I watched it actually. And I was I was on tune, but I can't go with the hype. So I definitely see that stuff with The Dark Knight. One of the really interesting things for me is the way like some things are picked up and some things aren't. Like, for example, when he's getting beat up and laughing, and when he's like, you know how many, the Joker, that is, and he's like, you know how many people of my friends that you killed, when he's being interrogated, and he just looks at them, and he's like 6. Like, that's like one of my favorite scenes in any movie, and it's just not repeated. It's just not talked about at all. And so, like, that's what I'm saying. It's all perspective. Like, that's like one of my favorite scenes from that movie. People have never even heard of it. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, what the hell? What are you? That has nothing to do with the movie at all. But like, that just showed me how crazy he was. Like, how there was no remorse. You know what I mean? He was getting beat up. He was like still laughing at his friends who he killed. Meanwhile, he might die. Like, that made it like that. Like, really put the whole character together for me. So like, that was just a cool scene, and no one ever talks about it. So like, that's what's cool about like these like reviews of like these really popular movies. And you were there at a certain time when you watched it, and you're not there anymore. Like for the Spider-Man thing, I think Miles Morales really got us all on board back with Spider-Man. Like once that Miles Morales Spider-Man came out, like I was super back onto Spider-Man.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Into the Spider-Verse was also on my top 5 of like superhero movies. It was like Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, like right next to each other. And it was really because, as you said, John, Miles Morales. I can't wait to get like PlayStation 5 and just play the new Spider-Man game to play as Miles Morales.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that is just how I feel.
You'll like that part of my list potentially tomorrow.
Okay.
You guys will both love the flowers we throw at Heath Ledger, by the way. Like,
yeah, I mean, you cannot.
It's not just one of the best superhero it transcends the genre. It's one of the greatest on-screen performances of all time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. But Andrew, I think this is a good place to end it off. We've been on here what seems like a decade, but it's been a great pod, man. Really enjoy having you come on. So please let the listeners know, even though we just hyped up a final review, please let them know where they can find you, your work, and everything.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Andrew J. Claudio. You can find my work at Knicks Film School by checking out the pod, the YouTube channel, the newsletter, and all the above. Knicks Film School, if you go to their Twitter account, we have a link tree that links to all of the different avenues of content we do there. And then, of course, Final Review, the brand new podcast over at Blue Wire Podcast Network. We release new episodes every Thursday morning. A different all-time great movie is covered every week. And I'll even throw you guys a little hint if you didn't catch it. in the first episode. At the end of every episode, the music you hear to play us out is the score for the following week's episode.
Oh,
so
cool.
like
Very
we
cool.
played the Dark Knight theme as we were wrapping up the final review of The Social Network. So tune in to the full episode 2 if you enjoy or not enjoy what we say about the Dark Knight. And then at the end, you'll get to hear what we're doing next.
That's very
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. And guys, as always, Alex, you were one of the first people I reached out to when I was like, okay, I want to talk. I want to go promote this show. I enjoyed the hell out of my time with you guys last time, and I cannot wait to come back and talk about how right I was again, although I'm going to hate how right I was about this Jets team later this year. So
hopefully John is right about this Jets team, because
seriously,
because
9
I
wins
will
is
be
coming,
so
guys. 9 wins is coming.
Look, man, I'm probably one of the most pessimistic Jets fans. I try to hold the show. I think I hold the show back sometimes with my pessimism, while
Alex,
John holds it up with the optimism.
if the Jets lost Lawson and go 9-8, you know how hype I'm going to be for next year?
Exactly.
Dude,
dude, if that happens, I'm going to be so freaking obnoxious. I will be the most obnoxious person, and Boston won't even know what to handle me. Like, they won't even know how to handle me, because I'll be wearing green every single day, and it won't be for the goddamn Celtics up here. But Andrew, I appreciate
there is an MVP Madden giveaway coming out, Alex. Let them know.
Oh yeah, that is right. So guys, said it on the last pod. This is maybe a little bit too long, but we'll tweet this out tomorrow tweet it out after the episode comes out. We have a Madden giveaway. Guys. It is compatible with the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox One, or the Xbox Series X. Okay. So make sure to do these actions in order to fulfill those requirements to be in this contest. All right. You got to, 1, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also just while you're there, hit a like button for one of the episodes, or all of them if you're so kind. But make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then you have to follow us on one of our social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're heavy at. Okay. Some people are into Twitter, some people are into IG. Make sure you just follow our account right there. Then I want you to take a screenshot of both the subscription to the YouTube and the social account. Send it to our email, knicksjets@gmail.com. And then that's how you'll qualify for the raffle for the Madden giveaway. And just please, when you send us the email, let us know what preference you have, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation. That way we can get the copyright out to you. And if you do win, you'll hear back from us asking for your address so we can ship you that copy. All right. So everyone, thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for Andrew Claudio for coming on the pod. We appreciate the respect, man. I'm happy that you reached out, because we do have a fun time talking about Knicks and Jets with you, man. And look, once again, another long episode that we do together. We don't know if we're going to split this one, though. It's probably just going to be one episode, though. But
we might have to split it, man.
We might have to.
This has been 2 hours.
Shout out to your producer who has to do all the splitting too. I know
double producer.
I know that
double producers on this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But Andrew, thank you again, man. And for everyone out there, you know what to do. Make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts if that's where you listen to it. And if you don't, it's okay. We're on Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Amazon, Alexa, you name it. We are there. On top of that, please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give us a like, just be polite. We're just looking to grow the community, guys. Come on, help us. Support a brother, all right? Support some brothers. Come on. We all need that help. And last but not least, follow us on all social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Knicks, Jets, etc. You can find us there. You can even find us on TikTok. We got Raisi, our other producer, who's about to be making some content for us because he's just a TikTok king. All right.
And so catch Winning Picks Weekly, baby. Some gambling picks are out.
Oh, there we go. So much. A new podcast coming out.
You're talking about picks. Catch Winning Picks Weekly, man.
I'm down, especially if you start being right. I'm gonna check in every week.
The Jets are my homer team, so don't hold me too accountable on the Jets, even though I like the 9.
No, you don't.
Because the week one.
You don't.
Week 1 Carolina is the win. That's a +5.5, but it's not my best bet. We got best bets there. We got parlays going. We have futures going for week 1, so week 1's kind of long, but check that out, man. And if you win some money, hit me up.
For sure. So we'll catch you later, everyone. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be a Knicks episode dropping next week.
Let's go Jets.